Bird Aware Solent is raising awareness of internationally protected birds. We've got a team of rangers who go out and about on the Solent coast, and we talk to visitors all around our beautiful shoreline, just raising awareness that these birds are here and that they need our help.
Have wading birds that come from Russia, from Scandinavia, from Iceland, and even as far away as Greenland and eastern Canada. The reason they come here is that there's so much food. The mud is incredibly rich, and huge numbers of species are in that mud.
It's very important for the estuarine habitat here, the mud that's absolutely packed full of life, that actually feeds the birds that come and visit the harbour, and they all funnel down to the British Isles where we have this fantastic resource to keep them going during the winter. I've got a tray full of small creatures here, just in half a sieve full of mud. Just can't count how many are in here, but they're mudworms and little shrimps. The mud shrimps occur in big numbers, something like 2,000 to 3,000 in just a square metre.
In the Solent itself, you can get vast flocks of up to 20,000 birds maybe seen in some of the harbours. And because they've all got different feeding techniques, they don't compete for the same food, so it means a lot of birds can feed in a close proximity.
Many of these birds are adapted to feeding at low tide when the mud is exposed. 2 tides a day. There's obviously just these short feeding windows when what I always refer to as the restaurant being open. When it's high tide, the birds need to find dry ground on which they can rest. These factors added together, the short daylight hours, the short feeding windows with the tides, and the fact that they've got these tough winter conditions to deal with, make it difficult for the birds to survive the winter.
Obviously these days there are a lot of people living around the Solent, and there's lots of recreational use, and that comes from walkers, dog walkers, cyclists, water sports, bird watchers, photographers. Everybody plays a part in that, and there's certain levels of disturbance the birds will put up with and some things that they won't. So people should always be aware when they're out in the countryside that they're not disturbing birds and the roost sites in particular.
So what we're asking people to do is just to be aware that the birds are here. First and foremost, if you can be aware of where birds are feeding and resting, you can then give them the space they need to behave naturally. When the birds are disturbed very often, it will actually impact on their energy reserves, and it could actually be the difference between life and death, and they may not survive the winter. So some of the things that you can do are to stay on the footpath where footpaths exist, keep your dog close to you, keep your dog either walking to heel or on a lead if you need to. If you want to find out more about Bird Aware Solent, then you can look on our website. We've got lots of information about the birds. We've got a coastal code to help you enjoy the Solent responsibly. We've got events that you can come along to and find out more. We've got rangers out and about on the coast, and we've got lots of leaflets which we're handing out to people.